Hey everyone, welcome back to busyprogrammer.com, and in today's video we will learn how to use LazyColumn in Jetpack Compose. So LazyColumn is a powerful component for scrolling behavior in our app. So without any further delay, let's start. So as you see in my screen here, we have a list of items. We have person's name, we have their occupation, and as you see we also have a header, categorized header. We can call it sticky header. So as we scroll down, we can see all of our items. And also if we expand this, we can see the details here. So how we can create this kind of custom list view with Jetpack Compose. So that's what we will going to learn today. So before that, let's explore what is LazyColumn is. So if we go to the developers.android.com, we can see in LazyColumn we have a couple of functions that we can, couple of parameters that we can invoke, such as modifier state. We have reverse layout. Okay, we have print behavior that we can adjust. Okay, so this is just for your information. Now let's start building our application for LazyColumn. So our final goal will be to create this kind of list where we have a couple of items of person names. Each person will have an avatar, and below of the person name will be the profession of that person, such as doctor, carpenter, US engineer, or whatever it is. So we already have a repository for that. Let me show you the model class, the data class for person. So we have the icon here, we have name, we have occupation of each of the, underneath of each of the names. We also have occupation details. So if we expand this, we can see the details, right? Yeah, and we also have category. So that's for the sticky header. So let's start writing our code. So first of all, we will create custom item, which will be this, right? So we will create an avatar. We will have two text component, also an expandable icon here. Okay, so let's start. So before creating the function, we will write composable, right? Annotation, function, custom item. All right, so this custom item will take person as a parameter, the person of our model class that I just showed you here, right? All right. So I'll create a surface here first of all. No, not this surface, it should be compose surface. Surface. Okay. So inside the surface we will give it, let's say, white color, color that white. Okay. We'll also add a modifier. Let me just quickly do that. Padding vertical. I'm giving a vertical spacing, I mean padding of 4 dp and horizontal padding of 8 dp. Okay, now let's go inside the surface body. Here we will take a column. Inside the column parameter, I will give it some modifier. So let me do that. I'll give it some padding actually inside the column. Let's say I'm giving it 10 dp. All right, and I also want it to fill the max width. So let me do that. That's how we can do that. Inside the column scope, now I will take a row scope because these items will be decorated horizontally. So let's take a row scope. And now we will create our image for the avatar, right? Here for the painter, I will write painter resource person.icon. So we already have the icon in our person model that will take the avatar. Actually, we can rename it to avatar for better understanding and clarity. Let's do that. All right. Okay. And the description should be simply avatar. Okay. And since it's a rounded shape, so let's make that. content scale should be cropped. And in the modifier, we will define the size. Modifier dot size. Let's give it 74 dp size. Also add some padding, 10 dp. Okay, and add a clip for circular shape, circle shape. Okay, also we'll give it a border, border 2 dp of stroke, and color should be gray in my case. And yeah, circle shape. So let me refactor my code real quick. Yeah, so now our avatar is ready. So let's design the text field, which should be just on right of the avatar, which should be decorated horizontally, right? So for that, we will need to keep this item inside this row, because when we use row, we want use row when we want to decorate the items horizontally. So inside the row, let's take a new column. Again, let's take a modifier inside here. Modifier dot wet. I'm taking a wet so that you can take the full wet. Now I'm also taking a padding. In this case, I'm taking a top padding so that we get some spacing on the top, right here, if you can see my screen. Okay, so now inside this column scope, we will write our text. So we should need to take text composable, and inside that text composable, we will take person name, and we will add some styling. Let's take it from material theme dot typography dot 6 dot copy. Font width extra bold. So we want the text to be bold, not just like this name, right? Each of the names. So that should be it. And apart from this text, we need another text, right, for the occupation of each of the person. So let's do that. It should be simple text without any bold. So just write person.occupation should work fine. Now we will take this. Now we will work on this icon. So we will just take an image that should do the work. The resource drawable dot. I already have that image imported in my drawable, so I'm taking from there. All right. So let's see how it looks in our preview. Let me see if I can build it. I'm getting an error. I need to add the content description here. Okay, fine. So now here I will just take the person item. And for example, person, go to persons 0, for example. Build and refresh. Okay, so that's how it's currently look like. It looks like this image is not aligned center. So let's see what we can do. I think we need to add a modifier for this. So let's do that. So modifier equals to modifier dot padding. Giving it padding of 10 dp from top. Now let's rebuild it. Yeah, now it's almost appear to be in the same line of this person name, so it's fine. So now our custom item design is done. Now let's build the lazy column, the item. So I will show you how we can do that. So for that, let's create a new function called lazy column example. Lazy column example. Okay. Inside here, we will take lazy column. That will give us a scope. So let's create a list. 0, 2, 5. Items equals list. And inside that, for example, we take a text composable. This is, and inside that we are writing a text. It is a list. Okay, so let's run this and see how it looks. As you see, we have this items created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because 0 to 5 is 6 from 0 to 5, so which is why we have 6 items created. So if we use, for example, another list for item indexed, items indexed, and we take a list of string A, B, C, and D. Now if we use item indexed here, items indexed, we will take this, and inside here we will write index an item. So if we write another text composable, and here we write this is index of item. Now let's run it. As you see, first we have 0 index, then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and we have all the 4 items. So that's how we can use items indexed. We can also use a single item, like I said earlier. Here we can just take a single item, and this is a single item. So now if I run this, it will show a single item. So that's how lazy column works. Inside the lazy column, we have to define our required functions. So in our case, we will look over all of the items. So let's do that. So for that, I will take a parameter here, category, and it should be a list of person, actually not a string, it should be person, the data model that we have created before. Now let's run over all of these items. It should be categories. Okay, categories dot for each. Sorry. Now for each of the person, let's create a lambda for that. Okay, I will take an item for each of the person, and I will use custom item, right? The custom item composable that we created before, if you remember, this one. Custom item person. Okay, now let's run it. So we need a list. So I'm taking persons from this repository, right? Let's run it. As you see, we have now a list of persons along with their occupations. So if you are familiar with recycler view in classic Android system, so this is LazyColumn is quite similar like recycler view. It recycles rest of the item, only keeps the items which are visible in its pool, and recycles the rest of them. So that is the advantage of using LazyColumn over any scrollable without doing scrollables. So if you would take a scrollable items, it wouldn't recycle all of the list items. So which is why it comes very handy when we are loading a list which is quite long. So now let's see how we can implement the expandable feature of this. And we also want to add sticky header. So let's do one by one. First, we will see how we can create the expandable list, how we can expand this item, right? So let's do that. So for that, what I'm going to do is I have to create a state, mutable state. So let's go inside the custom item here. We'll create a variable called expanded. I will take remember function so that our compose can remember this previous state of this variable, so that it, when any recomposition happen, it doesn't call again and again. Initially I will take it as false. Okay, all right. And now here, just underneath of our items here, we will write if statement, if expanded dot value is true. In that case, we will take a column and we will show a text composable here, which should take person dot occupation details. Now we also want to reverse the icon, right? So we also need to do that. In order to do that, inside our painter, we need to write if or else statement. So we can write if expanded dot value, then we can write painter resource dot travel dot base expand less, or we can write this time expand more, this one. Okay, let's reformat the code. Okay, all right. Now let's run this application and see. Okay, we also need to make it clickable, right? So we need to make this icon clickable. That we haven't done yet. So let's do that. So in order to make it clickable, what we essentially need to do is we need to, in the modifier, we will write dot clickable right here, dot clickable. Okay, here on click of this, we will reverse the value of expanded. Expanded dot value equals expanded dot value. So let's run this and see. Okay, now as you see here, we can see each of the details expandable for each of the list items, as you see here, basically everywhere. If you notice, when I scroll down, for example, I have this open. If I scroll down and come back again, it will not show the expanded state. It's because the items are recycling every time, which is why it's not showing as open state of this list. Okay, let's now create a sticky header. So for that, we need to create a new composable function. Sticky header. Now inside the sticky header, I will take two parameters. One is text, another one is modifier. Modifier will be default modifier. Okay, fine. Now I will take a text, pass the text. Now I will add some font size and add some other parameters as well. We'll give it a color of white. White. Font weight. We'll make it bold as well. Font weight dot bold. Inside the modifier, I want to make it field max width, so this is what I'm going to do now. Fill max width. Also, we'll change the background color. Let's say we'll take color.green. I'll also give it a padding of 16 dp. Let me import this one. Okay. So now I have to use this sticky header inside our LazyColumn scope, right? Here. Sticky header. In the text, I will pass person.category. So if you don't know what this category contains, let me show you. In the repository, these are the first initials of each of the names. So for example, Cody Terry, it should be K. So that's what it is. I think I need to add another modifier here. Let's do that. So in order to invoke this sticky header, I have to take this sticky header function from Compose. Okay, this one. So inside that, I will write our composable. Don't get confused with same name. And since this is an experimental API, so we'll just opt in that. Okay. So let's see how it looks, or how does it. Okay, so I think I have missed one bracket here. Let me run it again. So as you see, we have kind of our sticky header ready. The color is not looking good, so what I want to do is I want to change the color to maybe red. Let's see how it looks. Okay, this looks much better. What you can notice is these two should be joined, right? But it's not the case. It's showing as separate. Each of the sticky header is showing as separate. So how we can fix that? So we can create a temporary variable called previous value, for example. Remember, without any key, mutable state of string should be empty in the beginning. And okay, let's create that inside our LazyColumn, not in sticky header actually. Here, okay, inside here, and I'll change that over here. Previous category value should be equals to person.category, and I'll write an if statement here. If person.category not equals to previous value, then only then we will show this sticky header. So what we are essentially doing here is we're checking if the previous category is same as the current one, then we will not show the sticky header. Otherwise, we will show it. Let's run it now and see. Okay, perfect. So both of them are now in the C category in the sticky header, as you see. And similarly for G, this has only one item, so it's fine. And if you see on the top, it sticks to the header. So that's what a sticky header does. So I think we have covered all the topics for today's video. I hope you have learned how to use LazyColumn in your project. Feel free to comment if you have any questions or any future video ideas that you want to share. And don't forget to subscribe my video, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, thank you and happy coding.